Hello, Michelle here with My Designs in the Chaos, where it's always my goal to develop, encourage, and grow your crafting talent and confidence. And right now, we are on a 30-day series called the Daily Dose of Design, where every single day I am sharing all kinds of tips and tricks in designing SVG files, all around designing files. So if you're here, say hello. Let me know that you're here. I'd love to hear where you're watching from today, and maybe what was the most recent item that you crafted or project that you created. That would be fun to be able to hear. So, hey, Diane, I'm glad that you're tuning in today. So we are on episode number 7 of the Daily Dose of Design, where I am diving deep into your questions all about SVG files and things surrounding SVG files and designing SVG files. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me today. So let's go ahead and let's dive into episode number 7 for today's Daily Dose of Design. Today's question comes from an email that we got. And again, if you would like to send in your question via email, please make sure to send it over to info@mydesignsInthechaos.com. I would love to be able to potentially address your question in one of these 30-day series. So today, what our question is, it comes from an email that we got, and it says, how do we know what to actually design for? How do we know what to create? How do we know what's trending? Like, I feel overwhelmed with how to know what to actually create. Because yesterday we talked all about how to stay organized and how to have your ongoing list of ideas. But today the question was, but how do I know what that is? Like, how do I know what designs people are going to want if I'm trying to sell them? Or how do I know what to create if I'm trying to sell finished products in my shop? So how can I figure out what's trending? So I have 5 different tips for you today on how to know what types of files to create. Now, before I get started in my 5 tips, I want to say the very first thing is you got to create what's in here. If you have a love for something in here, that's the very first thing you should be creating. And that was what other things will stem from. So that is the foundation. That's where you should get started. That's where you should originally grow from, is what's in here. What do you have a passion for? What are you really interested in? Do you have a hobby of some sort? And once you start designing around that, then you can move into the other stuff. But that should kind of be your foundation, because I really believe that your passions are not on accident. They are your purpose. They're your passions for a reason. And so if you have that passion that you want to create around that one specific topic, that's there for a reason. So that's kind of the very first tip I have, kind of before I get started into the 5 tips I have for how to figure out what's trending and what you should be designing for. Barbie says, thank you so much for being generous with your knowledge and tips. You are very, very welcome. It is my pleasure. And I hope that these are helpful for you guys. So the very first thing that I have for you, aside from designing what's in here, how to figure out exactly what's trending, how to know what to create. The first one is you got to do a little bit of research, okay? You've got to do some research on keywords. And when I say do some research, I mean that you've got to find out, what are people searching for? Yes, you might absolutely love a certain item, but maybe you're calling it this and everybody's searching for that item to be called this. So that's step number 1, is you've got to do some keyword research. Now, there's a lot of places that you can do this keyword research on, and this goes not just for designing files, but also for if you're trying to sell shirts with the files that you've made, or you're trying to sell coffee cups with the files that you've made. So number 1 is you've got to do some keyword research. You've got to find out, what is it that people are actually searching for? Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, and that would be a whole series in and of itself, but let me give you a quick couple tips for you when you're trying to do keyword research. You can do this on Google. You can type something in on Google and it's going to prompt you with a bunch of ideas of things that people are typing in. So start doing some searches on there and see what are people typing in. That's number one. Number two, you can do that same thing on Pinterest. You can do that same thing, number three, on YouTube. So these are all places that are built-in search engines that you can start typing words in, and it will give you some ideas of things that are trending around that item. Okay. And so you got to do a little bit of research and figure out what's the best topic that grooves with what you want to design as well as what's trending. That's number one. You got to do some keyword research on there. Number two, you got to figure out what's popular. Okay, Michelle, that sounds great. What's popular, but how do I know what that is? Well, go do some shopping. Now, you don't necessarily have to buy stuff, but I want you to go browse some of your local shops and stores. So this would be go look through Target, go look through Walmart, go look through your local Home Depot in the plant section, and anywhere that you see patterns, prints, sayings, shirts, cups, you can browse online. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying you should go copy what's already happening, but you'll start to see common trends and patterns. Like you might see llamas everywhere. You might see cactus everywhere. You might see lightning bolts everywhere. And so you're going to start to see common themes that are trending right now in all these big box stores. Like what's happening at Hobby Lobby? What's happening at all of these Michaels, these different places that you like to shop. And so again, that will give you a foundation of, okay, I see cactus everywhere I go. What kind of fun cactus designs can I make and put my own style on? So that's number two. Okay, you got to figure out what's popular. Go do some browsing. Again, that's research, not necessarily online, but go do some browsing. Go figure out what do you see that's happening and which one of those things speaks to you. Okay, so tip number one, keyword research. Tip number two, go do a little bit of in-store research and figure out what's trending, what's already being published and printed, and how can you put your own spin on it. Tip number three for the question of how do you know what to create, think about seasonal items. Think about times of the year when people want a specific design for that time. So this could be like for the fall, all seasonal items. Anytime our seasons change, people are looking for designs for that, right? So something for summer, something for fall, something for spring, something for winter. So that gives you four categories right there. But then dig a little deeper. Think about the end of school, the start of school. Think about Halloween. Think about Thanksgiving. Think about events and things that happen throughout the year. Every single one of those is something that you can design for. Okay, so that's number three, seasonal items. Number four, this item, Christmas. Any time of the year, Christmas sells. Christmas sells, Christmas sells, Christmas sells. People are looking for Christmas stuff. Now you might say, well, nobody's looking for Christmas, but I promise I have I have a screenshot from yesterday where somebody in one of the groups I'm in says, hey, I just had a Christmas design sell in my shop. So I promise Christmas sells all the time. So when in doubt, create something for Christmas. Okay, so that's number four. And then number five, the fifth tip that I have for you today on if you're feeling stuck on what do I create or what do I design for right now, like our the email was that we got. The fifth thing is think about items that your target market will look at and say, that's me. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's my shirt. That speaks to me. And what I mean with that is think of something like band mom. That's pretty specific, but it speaks directly to that person. Or maybe you say baseball mom. Okay. Or maybe you say something like plant lady, or maybe you say something like always cold, something that your audience will look at and say, oh my gosh, that's me. I need that right now. And again, you can be designing the file for it and then take that file and put it on a shirt, put it on a cup, put it on somewhere else, or just distribute the digital file itself. But that's the fifth tip is you want to create a design that somebody's going to look at and say, oh my gosh, that speaks to me. That's exactly describing who I am. And that's what's going to turn the tide on making people want to have your designs. And it'll give you some fresh ideas as you go throughout the year. Okay. So, quick review, real fast. 5 tips on how to know what to create. Number 1, do keyword research. Number 2, figure out what's trending. Number 3, do seasonal items. Number 4, Christmas always sells. And number 5, look at items and create items that your audience is going to say, hey, that's me. And you want to create designs that are around that idea. So, thank you so much for tuning in with me on day number 7. If you would like these daily in your inbox, make sure to click the link that I have provided for you so you can have all 30 days of all the things around SVG files and designing SVG files. And make sure to send in your question. I've got the email listed right below so that I can make sure to get your question answered in this 30-day series of your daily dose of design. And if you enjoyed this, I would appreciate it if you shared or showed this video a little bit of love. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you back tomorrow with day number 8. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.